Kim Bearden was with us at the top of the show with advice on how to help your child overcome obstacles at school. Kim says communication is the key.
Kim Bearden.
Over the past 31 years, Kim Bearden has inspired thousands of students and trained more than 50,000 educators with her innovative methods. And in recent years, she noticed something wrong with the conversations and interactions she was observing.
People really don't always know how to talk to each other anymore. And then I've listened a lot to the barriers and obstacles that educators have, and not just educators, people in all different organizations. And I realize that so often it's an inability to communicate effectively.
Her latest book, Talk to Me, gets to the heart of effective communication through 6 principles. Bearden shares lessons learned from her failures and successes.
If you follow these principles, I think that even in your meaningful relationships, they'll be enhanced, but also in those difficult ones, they'll improve.
And talk to me about what you feel you've done the best.
When it comes to communication and my ability, it's the first 2 principles are the most meaningful to me. The principle of consideration and motivation. Consideration and motivation are a mindset, and they're not even necessarily the words you say, but the thinking behind the words that you choose.
I haven't even gotten around the board yet.
The book is dedicated to her family, which includes her husband Scotty and 4 children. The oldest, daughter Madison, and 3 teenage boys, Sasipo, Sabalo, and Pakamani, who were adopted after a visit to South Africa.
But sometimes you feel called to action, and I did.
Bearden says it took a village to help the boys transition to American life, learning to read, do basic math, embracing the culture.
That tells you about the power of educators, because the teachers in this building, they poured into my sons. They're extraordinary students.
Bearden's son Sabalo is already a fan of the book.
Yes, I'm almost done with it.
Sabalo says while he's learned a lot from his mom, her determination is what inspires him.
Her courage, because that's one of the things I admire most, is courage and being able to be consistent in things we do.
When I read this, I thought of your sons. You've definitely used these principles in helping them.
Absolutely. I get so much more out of it than they did. I mean, truly. What a blessing they've been to our lives. You know, my daughter said it best. She said they're everything we always needed but never knew we needed.
Anything you'd like to say to parents as the school year kicks in?
Please go into scenarios seeking the truth, and with that motivation of seeking truth versus coming in like a bulldozer, so that we can have a meeting of the minds.
So Kim, you say parents don't always know how to talk to their children either.
Well, I think that as parents, we are sometimes overwhelmed with our love for them, just as you heard in the earlier segment about anxiety, and we almost become a sponge for their emotions. You know, if our child is upset, we're upset. If our child is angry, we become angry. And then actually we're kind of making it about ourselves. And sometimes we don't feel appreciated. We feel like they're not listening to me. And so you have to take into consideration that we're the adult, you know, they're the children, and try to see it from their point of view. And when you do sit down to communicate with your child, you have to think about what are your motivators. Is it that you're angry? Are you upset? Are you defensive? Are you hurt? Are your feelings hurt? When you come to the table like that, it's really going to be about you. And it's probably not going to go as well. You're not going to be that calm force, that sense of stability that child really needs. And so, you know, if you're sitting down having a difficult conversation with your child, if you're seeking insight and solutions and resolution and wisdom and those types of things, you're going to approach the conversation in a much calmer manner. And that's really what kids need. They need you to be that stable force with all of the craziness they have to deal with every day.
30 seconds, what else do they need to just get into the school year and just really do well?
Sleep. We have children who do not, we have adults who don't get enough sleep either, but if you have a child who is overbooked and overwhelmed, and a lot of times we think our child has to be in every single activity, there are benefits to a child just being at home, just sitting there and interacting with the family, going to bed early, not having those devices all night long, even staying up studying all night long is not beneficial, because when that child comes to school the next day, if they are so exhausted, they really cannot be learning at the optimal level.
Kim Bearden, thank you so much once again. We love her. Kim's book, Talk to Me, available on Amazon. Join us for another edition of Public Affairs on Peach next Sunday morning.